the eagle was chosen as sort of the national mascot of the United States at the founding. There's an old rumor that Benjamin Franklin wanted it to be the turkey instead. You suggest, though, that the chicken is actually the bird of choice.
Quite. I mean, actually, by the way, more than a rumor about Ben Franklin. In 1784, he wrote the following. For my own part, I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen the representative of our country. It is a bird of bad moral character. Besides, a rank coward, the little kingbird, not bigger than a sparrow, attacks him boldly and drives him out of the district. He is therefore by no means a proper emblem for the brave and honest Cincinnati of America, who've driven all the kingbirds from our country. Now, Ben Franklin, as you correctly suggest, really wanted the turkey, which kind of makes sense, right? I get that. The turkey, I think, is still found wild in every state except Alaska and so on. So, okay. Leaving turkeys aside, the chicken is the ultimate symbol of the liberty movement. And I mean that in a very practical way, first of all. Almost every free market organization, think tank, foundation, institute, on some level owes its funding to poultry. The reason I say this is that the guy who founded them all, the guy who particularly funded the Atlas Foundation, which funds them on 5 continents, was a man called Anthony Fisher. Anthony Fisher was a demobbed RAF officer, and he found a copy of Hayek's Road to Serfdom. The legend has it on a train. I'm not sure whether that bit is true, but what is certainly true is he was so impressed, it totally changed his life. He went to see Hayek, who was then implausibly enough, a professor at the London School of Economics. So difficult to imagine that today. And he said, Professor, I've read your book. It's opened my eyes. I'm going to go into politics and change the world. May I have your benediction, kind of thing. And Hayek said, don't be an idiot. Any fool can go into politics, which I can confirm from first-hand experiences, I'm afraid, absolutely 100% true. He said, you have a much greater ability, which is to make the money. Go and make the money, and then you will endow something I've just invented called the think tank, which is basically what Fisher did. And how did he make his money? In broiler chickens. And this is the really cool thing, Dominic. I just think this is an underappreciated but rather heartwarming fact. Until the 1940s, chicken meat was basically a byproduct. So chickens were raised for eggs, and meat was a byproduct. It was the spare male chickens, or occasionally end-of-life hens, right? The breakthrough was saying, why don't we breed birds specifically to be eaten? This was the invention of the broiler chicken. Not a very nice name, right? When you're old enough to understand that you're a broiler chicken, is probably kind of a bit of a downer. Nonetheless, what an incredible moment, because for the first time in human history, ordinary people could afford protein. And it was an utterly, utterly revolutionary thing. We forget how recently meat was the preserve of the well-off. Even in your country, the richest country on the planet, the Hoover Republicans were promising a chicken in every pot in 1928. Right. So why the symbol for the liberty movement? A, because it's directly involved in funding it, but B, because it's the neatest possible symbol of how capitalism works for the little guy. That it's the opposite of trickle down. It's trickle up. Lots and lots of people who up until then couldn't have dreamt of it were prepared to pay small amounts of money to eat meat, and it hugely improved the utility and happiness of the human race. So for that reason, the chicken, unpromising and unpropitious as it seems, ugly, stupid bird, I know this, I grew up around the mean little reptilian eyes, it is not a handsome bird, is nonetheless an almost perfect symbol of the liberty movement, because it symbolizes how markets disperse wealth to the masses.